Congratulations on your book. It
Thank
is
you.
fascinating. I haven't completely finished reading it, but what I've read so far has really caught my attention.
Great.
Um,
Thank you.
what inspired you to write this? It seems like it's very intimate, very personal. So, what inspired it?
Yeah, well, I think the show, being on Last Chance U and then having fans from all over the world reach out to me from the show and really connected to something I didn't think they would connect to. I thought people would watch the show for football, and then all of a sudden I'm getting all these emails and people are saying, "Wait a minute, I connected to you, I connected to the athletes. I need if I had had you in my life when I was in college, maybe I would be in a different spot. I need that motivation and inspiration in my life on a daily basis." And so I just kind of started paying attention to those emails and decided, you know what, why can't I write it all down and compile it all into a book so that these people that maybe feel like they've already missed their chance and they've missed their opportunity can realize that they haven't and that they still have an opportunity to be better and do better than they did yesterday.
Uh, I work with kids, and I think one of the hardest things to do is motivate them to do well in school. And
Yeah.
a lot of these kids want to be athletes, and they like sports, but they believe student athletes don't necessarily they don't get pushed to do well in school because they're always being pushed to go pro, as quickly as possible. For you, why was it so important for these kids to finish school, to get an education, as well as pursue their athletic dreams?
I think for one, to prove to themselves that they could do it. I mean, I think there's value in a degree and value in an education, but I think for a lot of them, like you just said, they have been told so many times, well, you better be good at football because you can't be good at anything else.
Yeah.
You're not smart enough. You didn't come from the right neighborhood. You don't have the right amount of money and so you forget it. You can't do this whole academic thing. And I think that's a lie. And I think over time, when people tell you that over and over and over again, you start to believe it about yourself that you're just not smart enough, you're not good enough.
Mhm.
And I think for a lot of them, it was to prove to themselves that yeah, you can do it, and you absolutely are smart enough and good enough. You've just never really tried, and you have to put forth effort, and you have to try to be successful at anything. And so I think for me, that was it for me, was really for them to get the confidence in themselves to realize that they were smart enough to do whatever it is that they wanted to do.
Definitely. And how has that 10K pencil and Last Chance Foundation helped you expand on your message?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is the message these days. I mean, I decided to leave the show. I decided to leave East Mississippi. And so for the past, I don't even know, 4 years, I guess, that's what, I've been doing. And that's how I've been getting the message out is through 10,000 pencils. And through that, I mean, I have been able to travel all over the United States, work with teachers, counselors, students, not just athletes, but students all over the United States. And I would have never in a million years gotten that opportunity, had it not been for branching out, trusting myself, trusting my gut, doing this on my own. I would have never gotten the opportunity, but it's really allowed me to be able to go into schools everywhere. And the interesting thing is that I've probably worked more with non-athletes than I have athletes since I went out into 10,000 pencils, which has been fun and a whole nother adventure for me because I wasn't an athlete. And so I kind of feel like I'm looking myself in a lot of times when I go to these schools and I'm just talking to quote unquote regular students. I feel like I'm talking to myself a lot of times when I'm saying, look, remove the labels and believe in yourself here, because you can do this. And so it's been fun. It's been an amazing journey for sure.
So how often do you feel like when you're talking to these kids that you're talking to your younger self and giving yourself advice?
Every word that comes out of my mouth. I mean, it's interesting, and I talk about it in the book that I went into the profession thinking that I was the expert, and that I was going to go in and make a difference and change all these young athletes' lives and change their, change how they operated, change their routine to make them better. And really, I think what happens is that you end up being changed yourself. I think that, yes, I helped people better their lives, but I didn't help anybody that didn't help me. I just think, I was changed by these athletes, and I realize it. I mean, there are moments where I think about an athlete and I will know the exact lesson that they taught me, the exact way that they changed my mindset or changed my beliefs. It's an amazing thing to sit back and open yourself up to letting other people change you. And I think that I was the one really, and I look at it now and think, yeah, they're showing me things about my younger self. I mean, they were healing me in a way from my younger self and from those days. It's really interesting.
We as humans, we're so easy to give people second chances, but it seems like we're hesitant to give ourselves a second chance. How did the last chance you help you give yourself a second chance? And was there any hesitation for you?
Absolutely. I mean, there's still hesitation for me, I think, even with this book, like you write the book and then you get to the moment where it's coming out and you think, oh my gosh, like, no, I don't, what if it's not good? What if people don't like it? What if I shouldn't have written a book? Who am I to think that I have anything to say? I mean, there's all that negative self-talk even today that goes on. And, when I sat down and decided to leave the school, I talk about it in the book too, that people think that I made millions of dollars off of Last Chance U. And so I think people look at me and think like, well, it's easy for her to do. She had millions of dollars in the bank from being on a TV show. And I tell the truth in the book that I didn't get paid a dime for that TV show. I didn't even get paid to promote it. Matter of fact, I was maxing out credit cards to have clothes to wear on the show and promoting the show. And so when I sat down and really decided, like, am I going to leave the school and the show to pursue something on my own? There was a lot of hesitation, a lot of self-doubt, for me to think like, can I do this? Like, am I good enough to actually do this on my own? Do I know enough about how to run a company and how to, build a website and do all the things that I have to do to make this work? Will people really hire me, or did they just love me because I was, on a TV show? So there's all of that you kind of go through. And I think that one of the athletes on season 2 of the show, there's a moment where he says to me, Miss Brittany, you've been preaching to us for years to follow our dreams and to go for it. And now it's your turn. And that hit me in the face, because it was like, if I'm going to tell them to believe in themselves and to go for something that they want to go for, then I have to be willing to do the same. And it was really the athletes and really taking a deep look at myself and saying, you know what, I got to go for this, because this is a one-shot thing right here. And I did. And I mean, I'm still here. So, wow.
In the dedications, you give such a beautiful explanation, and thanks to so many wonderful people. How important is that support system, and how do you go about getting something like that out of people in your life?
I think support is key. I do think that support is key. And I think that a lot of the stories of the athletes I worked with started with the fact that they felt alone, and they felt like they didn't have the parental support or just the support of teachers and counselors in their school. And so I think support is key. I think the reality, though, is that we all do have support in some way. It just may look different. I think we have this narrow definition of what, support is supposed to look like. And if we don't have what fits in that tiny little box, then we think we're alone, and we think that we don't have support or people who love and care about us. And I think that we've got to open that box up, because support can come in a whole lot of different forms. And for me, I have found a lot of support from people that I've never met. I mean, from fans of the show who have sent me emails or sent me tweets, or just kind of that I now know their name, and they don't know that I know their name, but I know their name because every time I put something out, they're the first to say, like, yay, yay, Brittany. And I don't know them. I've never met them, but every single person like that in your life that's cheering you on from a sideline is support. It doesn't have to be a blood relative or someone that you interact with every day. It can open, let's open our eyes here and look for the people around us, some that maybe we haven't even met, that are cheering us on and supporting us from afar.
Definitely. And now there's a scripted show coming out about your professional and personal life. How do you feel about that coming to life and Courtney Cox playing you?
I'm super excited that Courtney Cox is playing me. That's a compliment. And I was a fan of hers from Friends, obviously, before I met her. But now that I've gotten to know her, I'm even bigger fan just because of the human being that she is, the person that she is. So I am super excited that she's playing me. It's a little weird. I'll admit it. Like to have a scripted series and to realize how vulnerable you have to get and how honest you have to get in order to make something like that work is a little scary. I felt the same way about writing the book. There was a lot of personal stuff in there that I wasn't sure, I was quite ready to put out. And the show will be the same way. There will be a lot of personal stuff that'll be shown in that show that, you've just got to trust the process and know that putting my own story out could help someone else with their story. And so that's the whole point of it.
Well, you're a wonderful person. This story is incredible. It's truly inspiring. It's very motivational, which I guess I should have expected from the beginning, but I really was caught off guard. And thank you very much for this.
Thank
Where
you.
can people follow you on social media if they want to keep up with what you're up to?
Yeah, so I am on Twitter and Instagram. It's Brittany_MS girl from Mississippi. And then I have a Facebook fan page that's just Brittany Wagner also. And I try to keep it, I do it myself. So I do the best that I can, but I try to keep it updated and let people know, where I'm going to be and what I'm doing. So I definitely appreciate all the support on social media. I also have a website, BrittanyWagner.com, where people can go to book me for events or for work, and then also see where I'm going to be and what I'm up to on there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's an honor to talk to you, and I hope the best and much success for you coming up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for reading the book.
No problem. I really am enjoying it. I will finish it probably by the end of tonight.
Awesome. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think when you're finished. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.